War. War never changes.
Hello, hello. Welcome to War Never Changes, episode number 30 for November 18th, 2020. My name is Jim, joined by the legendary 50 caliber Phil McCracken. How you doing today, sir?
What's going on, Jim? I'm great. How about you, buddy?
Dude, I'm doing awesome. And a week ago today, we were both so sad or confused or frustrated or whatever about PlayStation 5. And we now have it. We have one. Some of us have 10 or more, however many you've pre ordered. I don't know.
Bro, come on. You would have had
Bro,
more than one. You would have had more than one if any of yours had bothered to show up.
well, yeah, so today's show is going to be all about Sony. I mean, getting the thing, the PlayStation 5, the console, the controller, the Pulse, the user experience, the games. We will be talking about games. We will not be getting into any major spoilers. So if you have not yet picked up a PlayStation 5 and you haven't played any of these games, don't worry about it. We'll
I
keep
will
it.
spoil things. I'm
Phil
going to
will,
spoil stuff.
Phil's violent and evil. We haven't played enough to spoil things. I mean,
That's
really.
true.
Well, maybe a little bit with Valhalla. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get down to there later on. But yeah, so I went through a lot of debacle just trying to get these things as Target just continues to ream me for whatever reason. I don't know why. But yeah, man, I'll tell you what. But Best Buy did come through. Rachel and I went to the store on launch day. They opened up early. We got there early, and by 6:30, I had a PlayStation 5 in my house, plugged into the wall, and downloading and downloading and downloading. And I didn't really get to play it until close to 10, but it was well worth the wait. Some of us, like Phil, I got. You want to tell your story? What were you doing, eagerly waiting the Sony PlayStations that you had procured?
So I woke up Thursday morning, as did Jim, very excited, full of excitement and wonderment and vigor.
Yep.
And I waited patiently, like a little kid by the window, and it never fucking came. In fact, it didn't come until the next day at like 11, but
Oh,
I got it.
you got it. One day late, but it
I
showed
got
up.
three of them.
You did. You have three. And have you had any success in finding new homes for them, or is the search still on?
Search is still on.
So yeah, I bought. I did get a backup with Amazon. This is the funny thing. The first one I got was Walmart. Everything was fine. We got it pre-ordered. Then I got Target, Best Buy, Amazon. I canceled Target, although they kind of canceled it for me in a sense. I got rid of Target. As I picked up the Best Buy one, Rachel went online, and even though the Amazon console was on its way here, we were able to cancel and they took it back. So it was on the
Nice.
truck on its way, and it's like, nope, and it went right back. So we didn't have to deal with that one. So and the Walmart one that I had canceled after I picked up the Best Buy one still shipped, which is currently sitting in the garage.
Nice. Nice.
So, and
Just
I asked my friends who didn't get one, does anybody want one? And there was, oh, I don't know. So I guess I'm gonna send it back. I don't know.
what?
Yeah, what am I gonna do with it? I mean,
Just hang on to it, dude. Someone will want it before Christmas.
collect it.
No, you know what you should do? You should do for your channel for Viper Magic. You should be like, I'll sell this to you at cost when I like just do some sort of a raffle.
That might not be a bad idea. I mean, the truth is, other than the shipping part of it, it's untouched by human hands. It's actually still in. I honestly got to admit, I don't even know if I have a PlayStation because I got the box and it's just sitting in the garage in the box in the wall. It could be lead bricks. It could be 32 pounds of bricks, and I'd have no idea.
To all of our Chinese factory workers who are watching, yes, we think you're people. That's not what he went by. No human hands have touched it. We
Oh,
recognize you as human beings.
wow.
We don't mean to offend
We
anyone.
are the world. My human hands haven't touched it. I'll say that. It was in the quarantine pile and it just sat there because I didn't need it. So
Your cheesy little hands.
soon to go back to a proud friend, or I don't know what we'll see. But this week dedicated totally to PlayStation 5. First and foremost, Phil, top level, high level thoughts. Was it worth it? What do you think?
Yes, it was worth it. I am traveling this week, and I actually miss it. I miss playing
Oh,
it. It's been a lot of fun. I think it was well worth it. It looks good.
yeah.
It runs well. It's a great machine.
I've had, yes, I will agree with everything you said. Let me ask you this, and then we'll start breaking down some of these components. Does this feel like next generation to you?
No,
Why?
I haven't noticed a difference. I haven't noticed a real noticeable difference yet. Going from Xbox One X to this,
Hmm.
I mean, other than the controller I'm holding, that's really the only difference. I mean, it's just a big fucking noisy machine that plays games. I haven't, I feel like we're in the infancy of the
Yeah.
next generation, and I haven't seen a true demonstration of its power yet, other than maybe Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm kind of on the fence if I feel like this is truly next generation or not. I think there's a part of me that says yes, in the sense that every game I'm playing and every game we're going to talk about today runs at 60 frames a second at a pretty nice resolution. The loading times are instant. And in some instances, it sounds phenomenal. Not all of them. We'll talk about that later. Some instances, it sounds phenomenal. And when
Dun, dun.
all that comes together, there's these snippets. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I had one of those moments today. Demon Souls last night, I had a moment there too, where everything just fires on all cylinders, and then for a brief moment, you're like, this is really the next generation. And then you're bogged down by some stupid mechanic. The sound doesn't work as well as it should. The controller doesn't really do what you feel like it should. And I don't mean like miss buttons. I mean just like the haptic feedback or the adaptive triggers just don't really resonate well. And you're
Mhm.
just kind of reminded that it's like, yeah, it's an upgrade, but I can't say I'm totally blown away. And that's really saying a lot, I think, considering I still maintain the last generation we just concluded with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One was a total failure on a lot of different reasons for hardware purposes mostly.
Mhm. I,
So it's interesting that you and I have the same conclusion because I'm wondering how many people are. The hype is real. Look, I'm not gonna lie. The hype is real. Losing our minds, squealing like little kids when we're doing just the most basic things, talking on chat, laughing at stupid things. But like I don't. I still haven't gotten that sense of awe. Say like when I got my computer with like an ultra wide screen and it just blew me away. Like oh my god, this every single time I sit in front of this thing, I'm in awe. I don't always feel that way with the PlayStation, and I've had enough issues already where it worries me that in a year from now, Sony's got some patching to do.
yeah. Well,
So
our FOMO precludes us from not being early adopters, so this is what we signed up for,
I was
unfortunately.
I was just gonna say the caveat to everything we talk about here. Obviously, early adopters, day ones, ground running, learning on Reddit, learning on Twitter, learning on social media as fast as the next person, learning what works and what doesn't work. You had a scare right away
Yeah, man.
with your console. What happened there?
So in preparation for this console,
Hmm.
I had updated. I don't know why I did this step, but I updated my PS4 to the most current update, which is 8.00000 or whatever.
Right.
And then I plugged my Seagate 2 terabyte expandable drive into it. I reformatted it for PlayStation,
Hmm.
downloaded a bunch of games and saved games onto this, and put some stuff up in the cloud. And then I was going through and downloading games. I went the same day I got my PS5. I went to GameStop and I picked up Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the PS5 version. I
Hmm.
picked up Spider-Man Miles Morales, the Ultimate Launch Edition with the old PS4 game that's upres to PS5.
Right.
And I also grabbed Call of Duty Cold War for PS5. After I downloaded all those games and made sure that those were good to go so we could play together, I wanted to download some PS4 games from the PS Plus collection.
Right.
So I clicked on God of War and said download, and it automatically went to download it onto the expandable drive, and it temporarily bricked the system. It shut it down. It shut it down completely.
Yeah.
The light flashed. It didn't flash yellow or blue like it's supposed to. It flashed bright LED white at me. It's like started getting error screens. You've corrupted your PS5's memory. You've corrupted, and you've corrupted this expandable disk memory. So
Right.
first, it was interesting because I figured the root of the problem would be the expandable drives memory, but it fixed the PS5's memory first.
Yeah.
And then it fixed the corrupted expandable disk. And then I unplugged that shit.
Yeah, I went back and forth on playing with my external drive because I had seen issues of rest mode and the external drive issue as well. And I was very fortunate. I didn't seem to have any issues until today. We went upstairs to play Valhalla, and PlayStation turned on. The loading screen came on. I hit to start Valhalla. Immediately, screen went black, and my PlayStation went bright white and just sat there for like 30 seconds.
Jim's butthole went.
I ran down the garage. I'm like, I don't care if I get COVID. I need to get this other box out. No, I reset it. It fired up, and it did the exact same thing. It checked the PlayStation drive, turned off, turned on the external drive, turned off. I unplugged the external drive, and I don't think I'll turn it back on until I've seen like in words from Sony, hey, we are sorry, we fixed this issue, because it is very clearly something going on with those external drives. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And you know what? There's going to be bugs, man.
We got enough to play, though. We really have enough to play, so I don't want to say I'm not worried about it. They know better, especially since they've been really kind of shady, honestly, with how PlayStation 4 games would work with PlayStation 5. So it makes you wonder if they knew something was up. And they're like, They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. We did. It took us 20 minutes. We figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, outside of that with the console, though, in terms of like the user interface and just your overall experience, I like it because it's very snappy. It's like I don't wait for anything now. It's very instant. I don't love the new user interface. I don't hate it.
Oh.
I think I'm a fan of the PlayStation 4 ones better. And there are still elements of Xbox that I like better. So I still feel like we can do better on getting content to people.
Yeah, the user interface is a loser for this console for me. Hopefully they update it. It's like, dude, maybe I'm an idiot, but it took me a while to figure out just how to turn the fucking PlayStation off. Like, to go into the menu and then the sub menu and then down there where the power thing was.
It is a weird place. It's hiding, and you have to sometimes long press the PlayStation button, sometimes short press it to get to. Yeah, it's not as intuitive as it used to be. Used to be you pressed and held the button, and a menu came up on the left-hand side with all your options, and it was very, very easy to navigate to.
Yeah, and they put that stupid mute button way too close to the PlayStation button on this controller. Like, the mute button could have honestly been positioned on top of the controller within the range of your pointer finger, like R1, R2, fucking mute button.
Like the top
Instead,
center.
they put it literally right underneath the PS button. So every time you press that PS button, you're muting yourself, and you get this stupid, you're wearing your headphones. This button doesn't work.
It's like, shut up, I know.
I've got fat fingers.
I need a dialing wand. I agree with you. I did a video the other day on like the PlayStation Plus collection. Like, some people were having a hard time finding that. I had a hard time finding where to redeem a code. To get to the actual code is the store, but it's all the way on the right down. It's like a Tetris maze.
Google it.
Yeah.
Google it.
How do I get my thing?
Well, I didn't dare ask you.
No, I would have. Even though I struggled with it, I totally would have made fun of you. I mean, maybe that's why they released the companion app, because they're like, well, our UI is not the best, so we'll just put it on the phone. You click around on the phone really fast, and you can get to it that way. Maybe that's the thought, but it definitely needs some work. It's pretty. I mean, graphically, the light and the trickling effects and the way when you move things, how it clicks, and it's pretty to look at, but functionality, I don't think it's there.
Don't get me wrong, folks. It's a beautiful user interface, and I love the way it looks. I love the little modular tabs switching back and forth. I like how one end is your collection of games, the other end is the store, so that you're not screwing around between those two things. It's clearly defined where they are on the scroller. I think it looks fantastic, and it operates seamlessly. It's very snappy.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just clunky to navigate, but we're in the infancy of figuring out where everything is. So maybe that's, maybe we're just grasping at straws.
The one criticism I do have that I really think they need to fix is by default, when you open up your console, it's on that Explore tab. and it's basically a billboard.
Yes.
Every single day it's like, download this game, click here, tournament here.
Oh,
I feel
see,
like I'm walking into like a casino. I'm like, bro,
mine
like
doesn't.
you already got my money. Calm down.
Mine doesn't do that. I turned those off. When I was setting it up, it was like, "Do you want ads?" I was
Oh,
like, "No, I don't fucking want ads." So I turned it off.
so you don't have Explore tab. This is the first thing you see. I need to turn that off.
No, when I log in, it's like, "Welcome back to PlayStation." I
Hmm.
choose how, like this. I gotta give PlayStation credit. Just to detour for 1 second. When you
Sure.
log in, if you click options under login, like if I don't want Jim to know I'm there because I don't want to hear him cackling into my ear, I can press login is busy, login is online, or login is offline.
So
Not that I would
insta
ever do that to
stealth.
you,
Insta
but
stealth.
that's pretty cool. That's cool for the antisocial kids.
It is, yeah. Well, antisocial kids probably don't have any friends, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. But I get what you're saying.
yeah.
No, that is cool. I do like the yeah, like the do not disturb kind of thing. I like it because I get a lot of friend requests. I mean, everybody knows Viper Magic, Viper. Everybody, Phil, everybody knows Viper Magic.
Dude, I was watching a random YouTube video last night about a guy doing reviews on high-end audiophile headphones, like just for music, and your Pulse 3D review was the first recommended video underneath it. I don't know if that's just because I'm on your channel so much
I
or
don't know.
what, but you were the first suggestion, and this video had millions of views.
Mine doesn't. Lest there be any doubt. But I do like what I was gonna say is I do like the do not disturb because I'm constantly getting friend requests and messages, and I do like reading them sometimes. But sometimes I just want to be left alone. So you turn that on, and it blanks out any notification, and it's yes, I know it's really nice as I'm sipping cognac in my smoking jacket. Right.
I
So
can't be bothered to play with
can't be
you.
bothered to play with you, fool. I'd look at the ads instead. So-
You could be like having like a real like someone that actually knows what they're doing and is good at games, but instead you met this idiot on a cruise and now you're stuck with me and
That's
I'm
right.
just screaming into
Of
the
all the people I got stuck, yeah. In an alternate reality, War Never Changes is on episode 30, and like our special guest host is Phil Spencer.
instead the only fill you get's me.
What are your thoughts on the controller? I know we're going to talk about Call of Duty a little bit in more detail later, but just overall build quality, how does it feel to you?
I like the controller a lot. It
Me too.
feels it feels good in my hands. It's not too light. It's not like heavy or clunky. It's the perfect size. I have actually really big hands, so it's nice that it's a little bit on the bigger side. What? What are you smirking about?
I was laughing because I'm like, you're like, what, 9 feet tall? Like, you're like, I have big hands. Like, if you had little baby hands, but you had these giant wrists that led to these little tiny. The buttons are too far apart.
The Muffin Man.
Oh no. But just hearing you say you have big hands, it's like, we know, okay? Like, we get it. But carry
I
on.
can't reach the joysticks.
Such an idiot.
Oh my God. But the buttons are laid out really well. I
I
like the
agree.
touchpad functionality. The haptic feedback in the triggers is fantastic. The only thing about the controller I don't like is the mute button, where the mute button is.
Do
It's
you
too close to the PlayStation button.
Do you agree with me that the touchpad is a dumb idea and it should be removed from future PlayStation designs?
Yeah, like
It's the map button or the score button. Like, how am I doing in Call of Duty? That's the score button. I want to see the map. That's the button. That's what it's always been. The actual swiping part of the touchpad, I've never seen a game that implements it well, and it sucks.
yeah, I I've never used the swiping function. I'm just pissed that we went away from start and select to like lines.
Yeah. The hamburger and then the like triangle hamburger, right?
Is that an ellipsis? What is this?
You need to have a geometry math degree to understand. It is a nonsense. I agree. The last peripheral, we don't have the camera. I didn't get the camera. I didn't really see any need for it. There's not really. I guess you could stream with it, but doesn't really seem to be supported really in any capacity yet. The Pulse headphones, though, that seems to be a hot topic lately. What are your thoughts on those? Because I know you're a big time audiophile guy. You're always telling me about all these headphones you're trying and buying and what you're really looking forward to. So how does it stack up to some of the other stuff you've had?
As far as like true blue audiophile headphones, it doesn't stack up very well at all. But as far as gaming headphones, in the limited experience and limited category of things that I own, which is two whole headsets, Pulse 3D included, it does well. It holds its own, man. You know what, dude? All kidding aside, it blew away all my expectations. I was expecting this cheap, ill-fitting, like stupidly light and flimsy, like
Yeah.
tinny sounding headset, and instead I got reasonably rich sound with a good like a decent sound stage, and like they fit properly. They're comfortable. They do a good job for what they are, which is a bridge pair of headphones.
I was gonna say that's the key is that knowing to me I can't honestly believe that this is going to be something that we're going to be using in a year from now. I would be really surprised if this is something that actually makes the cut going in the future.
Dude, I have a feeling that you and I will either be both rocking Odysseys, a new Astro that no one knows about because maybe they're developing it in secret, who knows, or like
Right.
some Steel Series. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's games that work really, really well with the headphones for sure. There's some really good ones, like Demon Souls is really, really good. And then there's some other games that don't work as well. And that was a big part of what my videos have been on my, just talking on my one-on-one kind of channel, because I'm so surprised that like Sony made such a big deal about these Pulse headphones and this Pulse technology, and it works awesome in some places. In some places, it sounds really bad, and I'm like, wow, for the amount of money and time you guys spent into this, like, did you test anything? Like, who in Sony's lab put the headphones on and go, hey, you hear that mumbled, jumbled mess? Let's call it Tempest. Like, I don't see anybody looking like, where was the quality control in this? Like, it just doesn't seem to exist. I don't understand it.
Yeah, excuse me, sir? Yes, Johnson? When I play Call of Duty with these, the explosions give me a migraine immediately. Fucking ship it. Perfect.
We'll take two.
That's
Yeah,
how
exactly.
that
You're
conversation
right.
went.
So I guess that's a good jump point, because I did want to talk about some of the games here. As I mentioned at the beginning, there might be some really light spoilers, but honestly, let me ask you this. What's the game you've played the most, and how far do you think you are, if you've actually seen the timer? Like, how far are you in?
The game I've played the most is Call of Duty Black Ops multiplayer with you.
Okay.
And I'm like
Nine
level
nine nine nine
26.
nine hours.
Yes, level 26. I would say of the single player games I've played, I've probably put maybe an hour more into Spider-Man than Valhalla.
Okay. I'm at Valhalla. I am at 14 hours. I just hit 14 hours today.
Are you tracking this?
It shows it on your save. Well, I do a manual save, and it shows that on your save file. But yeah, you can actually look at it from your PlayStation. It'll show you like runtime is what they call it.
Does it show that on the companion app?
Not that I found, but it may somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I know on the actual console it will show you.
Okay, cool.
I know the Assassin's Creed one because I was just playing before I came downstairs to record with you today, and I always do a manual save when I quit, and it shows time played. So that's how I knew.
I do the manual saves too. I don't trust that.
I don't trust any of that shit. No, and I'll manual save multiple times in a mission because I'm not doing that shit again.
I actually rage quit Valhalla the other day because I couldn't manual save during a mission, and I kept getting my ass kicked. I can't tell you about it because it's a huge spoiler, but you're in for some fun.
Well, let's start there. Okay, let's go to Valhalla first, because that's the one I've put the most time in. That is also the game that by far has the most bugs out of any of my current games that I'm playing.
Okay, by bugs, what do you mean?
So enemy AI will just turn off. Legit, they'll be fighting you and then they'll just stop. Sometimes they're walking into each other during combat. Sometimes I was trying to do. Did you do the quest in the opening area where you had to go collect 3 antler horns, like reindeer horns, for this woman? Did you see that quest?
No.
Okay. So that brings me to another point, but I'll come back to the questing in a second. You have to hunt these you have to go kill special deer and get their antlers. Not every deer has antlers. Even though they have them on their head, when you loot them, sometimes you don't actually earn the item. I lost count. I would guess Rachel and I spent, I'd say, close to an hour and a half. We must have killed probably 35 of these things to get 3 antlers. 3 pairs of antlers or sets or whatever. The AI, sometimes you would kill one and then you would fast travel and fast travel back to reset the area. There would be a deer floating in the air, maybe 2 or 3 feet above the other dead deer, but he wasn't like interactable. Like you could walk through him. Like he was just like a hollow asset. And sometimes I get stuck when I jump on something. The game's crashed on me twice. Complete crash. Sound froze. I had to actually turn the console off. I don't know, man. The quality control is not here in Assassin's Creed. I'm gonna say that. That part is bumming me out.
Well, they're too busy hiding on their fucking roof to actually make games. They're too busy harassing their female colleagues and hiding on the roof to do any quality control, Jim. Jesus. All those antlered deer, there's no antlers there. That's an optical illusion.
What really bums me out is I feel... that is funny. I did laugh. Yes. Too busy sexually harassing. And crunch. Too much crunch.
Yes.
On something else. Clearly not quality control. But despite all that, the side quest thing, I think, is what frustrated me the most, because this game is massive. And when you start the game, you are still in Norway. I think everybody knows at this point you eventually go to another map. The Norway map, the starter map, it's a very small area for you to explore. There's quests and stuff to do. There's missions and all that stuff. There's a lot of NPCs to talk to that will give you missions, but it's not really recorded or tracked anywhere for you to like do anything about it. You have to go into a submit. So like that antler quest I was telling you about, it's under the inventory screen. You scroll all the way to the bottom and I had like a scroll of paper that said, I should really try to get 3 antlers for this trapper. But it didn't say where I was supposed to turn them in. It didn't say where to get the antlers from. It didn't track it. It wasn't something because like deer might be in this area. It was very blank. I love that because it forces you to explore. And I hate that because in a day or two, when I get into other areas and I'm getting 20 or 30 of these, they're going to totally fall to the wayside and I'll never do them, ever.
Yeah, I hate the lack of guidance.
Yes.
I don't want it to be linear, but like they missed the happy medium mark by a mile, because I'll do the first part of a quest and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now I have no idea what's happening.
That's right. It's very odd to me because when you are walking around freely, you can hit the bird button and your bird will come out and show you these columns of light of activities to do, which is fun because a lot of it's like, hey, go here, there's a treasure here, there's a weird mission here, there's something here. And those are entertaining, but there's a lot of other stuff too that's just not tracked. And I can't tell you the number of times I'd finish a mission and it's like, go talk to so-and-so, and I'd have to like look on the map and set a waypoint, and it's like 20 feet away, but it's just not clear like where I'm supposed to go. So that's what frustrates me about this game, I think, is that there's just, I don't want to say there's too much to do. That's never a bad thing, but the structure is really lacking.
It is. It is. Like, I have no problem with fetch quests and side quests because that's some of my favorite memories from Skyrim are some of the side quests. But
Right.
It's like, hey, like you meet this random whore out in the woods. She's like, hey, if you find my comb, I'll totally bang you. And then it's like,
Yes.
Okay, so we're literally on a fucking mountain in Norway. Where is it? Turns out it's at the bottom of a fucking lake.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Sorry.
No, it's fine because you're right. It was very difficult to find. And the truth is, there's really no guidance. And when you swim underwater, You get poisoned. I heard you. You start getting damage, like the screen frosts. It's hard to see. It's
Yes.
hard to navigate. So you can't even tell. Like, even if you really like, okay, I'm gonna take a hit. I'm gonna lose half my health swimming to the bottom of this lake. Fine. When you get down there, it's pitch black. You can't see shit.
Yes. Yes. Dude, the swimming mechanic in this game is completely broken. You
I don't
can't
like
see.
it.
It's like already horrible visibility. Then you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna cover the entire border of your screen in fucking ice.
So that it frustrates me, but then magically, a couple cool things happen. One, throughout the entire game, there's this amazing, amazing score constantly playing in the background.
Yeah.
This like inspirational, like these hymns, this music, everything you do. Climbing a mountain is just like an odyssey of itself. Every battle you get into, the music picks up. When you crash your ship on the shore and you blow the war horn, everybody's charging and the music surges. All that crap I said goes right out the window because it's just fun to play.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah,
at
and
least.
and a lot of people agree with you because they're reporting that the sales for this game at launch are the strongest ever in the history of the Assassin's Creed series. So, good job, Ubisoft, I guess.
The other thing the game does, and I'm going to pick on your beloved, and I'm going to say your beloved, Red Dead Redemption 2, is for whatever reason, the formula is we're going to start off a game in a really not fun place. In both instances, it happens to be snow. Heavy snow, it's slow to walk, it's not fun, it's hard to see, it doesn't look pretty. Then, after an hour or two of tutorials, we're going to transport you in Red Dead Redemption. I don't remember the first town they go to. Blackwater, I think, is where they left. Wherever the first camp is.
I think Strawberry.
Strawberry, thank you.
No, Valentine. Valentine,
Whatever.
sorry.
All of them. Yeah, maybe Strawberry was the first one?
Valentine's the first one, and then you go to Strawberry.
Okay. Then it's beautiful. It's green, it's lush, it's fun. Assassin's Creed, exact same way. If you showed this game to somebody in Norway, they'd be like, it's gray, it's muted, my HDR sucks, I can't see 5 feet in front of my face. The Northern Lights are pretty, but everything else
Yeah.
below it sucks.
I was going to say the Aurora Borealis replication, and it took my breath away.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. It is. But you know, it like when you're walking through the snow and it like kind of trenches out behind you and you kind of see your footsteps, it's pretty, but it's not like amazing. Then you go to the next area and it's green and it's bright and there's rolling hills and it's blue sky and it's vibrant and it's like, this is what they should have showed at the beginning. I wonder how many people are going to see that opening area and just be really turned off. I don't know why they feel like they have to punish you to almost reward you later on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's about a Viking, so if they started off in Florida, that'd probably be pretty fucking suspect. But I see what you're saying. They could have done something to add vibrance to this area. I agree,
Yeah.
totally.
That first area is just not fun to look at. It really isn't. And we spent probably 12 hours there. We completely did all the quests and objectives and everything. And it was such a breath of fresh air to get on the boat and get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
The guy's like, "Are you ready to go?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then it's green and it's like, look, you can actually see the water and there's different animals and it's like, this is great. This is the game that we needed it to be at the beginning.
Have you been out of the Animus yet?
Yes, and that was my last point because I have not played Odyssey
Mm-hmm.
or Origins.
Right.
I have no
Yes, you
idea who
haven't.
Layla is,
Yeah.
or Sean is, or Rebecca is.
You
I
should
don't
know
ca-
who Sean is. You should know who Sean is. Sean was there for Ezio, dude.
I don't remember. That's how long it's been. I don't remember. Here's
Sean
what I'll say.
so go ahead.
No, well, okay. I need to do some research on who they are, but here's what I'll say. As soon as the game starts, immediately you hear these yokels yapping over the beginning. Oh, there's a data stream. Blah, blah, blah. You want to be a guy, a girl, or you can play mixed, which is weird. I picked a girl. I'm sure you picked a guy.
No, I picked a girl. I'm a girl.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
I know you're not. I'm saying. I always. you get through a certain point when you're finally leaving Norway, the big loading screen, welcome, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the orchestra's playing, it's beautiful, you sail off into the sunset. And then, here comes Layla. She sits up, she takes the whatever headset off, and she's like, that's dumb. And I'm like, oh my God. They start talking. I'm spamming fast forward because I don't care. And then they're like, hey, whenever you're ready to get back in the Animus. And then they both have speech bubbles on their head, and I just walk straight to the Animus. I'm like, I don't care anything about what you guys are saying. I have no desire to talk to you. You could just not talk to me for the rest of the game, and that'd be fine. Thank you. And I left. And I got
Yeah.
right back in the Animus, and off I went my merry way.
Did you go over to the gravesite?
Yeah, well, you have to through the cutscene. Yeah, the cutscene shows because I know the whole Animus idea is. I mean, clearly, there's no spoilers in the sense that the Animus takes place present day, and Vikings are not present day. So it's fair to assume that not everybody's going to make it and live, 1,400 years or whatever the hell it is. So yeah, I understand that you have to get remains of a person or a specific relic, and that's how the Animus extracts their DNA. So yeah, you have to see that. But as far as them talking in this mystery and Abstergo, no one cares. Really, no one cares. It's so pointless. I don't know why they consistently feel the need to put it in the games, but they should take it out.
Agreed.
I wasn't. Yeah, I'm to the point where I'm like, I don't really care I don't care who these people are. They don't matter.
Yeah, Layla's not a likable character either. I don't like her at all.
It's not Layla's fault because Layla's not real, but her rendering doesn't look right. She looks like something out of PlayStation 3 or something. And I'm like, I don't want to play with some blocky ass. Get me back to Eivor. That's where my love is. I want to go play with Eivor. I'm getting into the story there. I'm starting to know my troop, Vikings, and what our mission is, and that's what I want to go have fun with.
Yeah. Gotcha. Agreed.
So, jumping over to Black Ops Cold War. Close.
Speaking of an actually good Assassin's Creed game.
I haven't touched the single player at all. I haven't even touched it. Have you?
I don't even know if I've downloaded it.
Okay. Multiplayer, though, clearly is the focus of this game. It's always been the focus of every not Cold War. It's been the focus of every Call of Duty game since the beginning of time, honestly. What are your thoughts on the multiplayer aspect of this game so far? After all the hours you've logged in Warzone and all the hours you've logged in Modern Warfare, how does that compare to your Cold War experience so far?
I didn't like it at first. Probably the first 5 matches we played, I didn't like it. And that's why I was like, let's go back and play Warzone. But I spent some time with it. I got used to it. I got some upgrades for my gun. And now I'm totally and completely in love with it. I'm jonesing to play it because I was having a great old time the last 2 times we played.
We had some good matches for sure. That helps a lot.
Yeah. And screaming into the microphone, yeah, bitch, and listening to you yeah, eat my ass. Jim is much less politically correct.
I'm
this podcast.
So for me, I played both the alpha and the beta on PlayStation. So I've seen this game grow. I feel like it's my baby. You could have played it too. You're over there playing European truck simulators. So be quiet, you. You could. You have a PlayStation. But anyways, I've seen this game grow. I've seen it evolve over the months, and it's gotten to a really good point. Yes, you are going to go through that same thing with every Call of Duty game, where you're going to start a match and you're going to be throwing rocks at people who have laser guided tripod, triple burst machine gun, flamethrower rockets. That's expected. But you level up very rapidly, whether you're playing well or not. You will get experience just by osmosis, even if you're a punching bag. You will get experience. You will unlock things. And then when you start getting attachments and you start kitting out your gun, you're like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. What really blew my mind with this game is the adaptive controller and haptic feedback on the DualSense. It's really revolutionary to me, and it's something I've never felt in a game before.
Yeah. It's the most satisfying simulated experience of firing a gun ever in my history as a gamer. I am So excited for all the Europeans and UK people to come online tomorrow night so they can all be like level 3 and my level 22 ass can just fucking destroy them.
We
Like,
call that
hey
the
guys,
noob
remember the
harvest.
Revolutionary War?
It's called the
Round
noob
two, bitches.
harvest.
G'day, mate.
Oi, hold this. Yeah. Here's a
No,
chopper
but
gunner. Welcome to America. Right.
that
Um,
that controller is just a love letter to all FPS gamers, I feel like.
I honestly, I have to admit it has slowed down some of my twitchy gameplay. It has because if you're fighting, not fighting it. When you're rapid firing a rifle or a shotgun, your hand gets tired pulling the trigger 4 or 5 times because you're really pulling it down on some of those big caliber weapons. Um, I definitely don't rapid fire as fast now as I did before, but you're 100% right. When you have a shotgun in your hand and you hit that trigger, the whole controller kicks so damn hard and then it fades out. You can almost feel like the reverb going through, the barrel, and it kind of like fades out. And as the trigger tightens and loosens up, you really feel like when you pull that trigger, like you're really going to do some damage as opposed to like a pistol where you can just snap that thing down really rapidly and it just kicks very lightly.
Hmm.
What a difference. Really, that is so amazing to me that they've thought of that. And I mean, I hope more games can like expand on that. But I think that alone is worth the price of admission just for that experience. Even if you play single player, just I think you need to experience that at some point. I think everybody
Agreed.
does.
Agreed. I 100% agree. I feel like probably one of the most like everyone like Jim calls me 50 cal because my favorite thing to do is snipe. I don't run around a whole lot. Recently, I've been running around a whole lot just trying to vent some frustration, but usually I'm moving from place to place and sniping. And I got to tell you that Tundra sniper rifle, pulling the trigger on that thing and connecting and like the like they've put so much thought into it that the bullet velocity of your gun now actually matters in a match. The
Yes.
bullets aren't all just flying at the same speed universally.
Yep.
It actually matters now. And to like pull that trigger and then like half a second later get that hit marker and then they're down and they're dead and like the gun you can hear like the parts cycling through the action. There's the metal scraping because they're older guns.
Right.
Like your hand is still shaking from the haptic feedback. I don't know, man. I just, it's hard not to really. It's just hard not to smile like an idiot. Every time I kill someone, I'm smiling like an idiot or going, whoo, like obnoxiously loud. It's great.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of thought into that action of each gun, and it's fun to get a new gun and try them out and see which ones feel the best. Obviously, the big shotgun sniper rifles definitely gonna like put you back a little bit. There's a lot of mid-range calculations in there too, in terms of like SMGs, which right now are incredibly broken, versus assault rifles. And it is fun. It's when I remember playing Modern Warfare and unlocking a new gun, it was cool because it was something different. You were curious what unique attachment it had. Whether it was like it shot really fast, or that like Finn LMG I had with that like saw handle where you like held it like this and you had the one arm in front of you and it was just like a big slow chain gun. Those were fun. But I'm even more excited now with new guns because I'm like, how's it gonna feel? Like when I pull that trigger, like what's it gonna do? 3 round burst got a very distinct 3 round kick to it, very loud, very vibrant. As opposed to a full auto gun that's a lot weaker, it just vibrates slightly. So I think that's the addiction right now. Is like I want to just try every gun. I want to throw every grenade. I want to try every kill streak because I want to see what they thought of because it does feel radically different. And I'm surprised, but they've managed to pull it off. I think in a really good way.
Yeah. I love like one of my favorite things about this game is listening to you in control of an RC car. I think that might be one of my because you're just like these people. Can I hear you? And you're like, yeah. Doesn't matter if you turn around and shoot at it. You're still dead, bitch.
The RC car's explosive range is stupidly big right now. And if you can see them on your screen, you've won. No matter what they do. The guy who pulls out his pistol to like quick fire you, it's like, fine by me. I can get back to the action faster. I don't want to drive this right up your ass, but I will if I have to. But it's so satisfying because there's been times I've driven the RC car up to a guy and he just doesn't shoot. And he knows he's just given up. And you just pull the car up and they just wait and they kind of look at you. Sometimes they crouch, like, okay, you got me. But, like, you've lost.
Yeah. I wish it had a little horn on it so you could just,
Oh,
like, drive up and go, meep, meep.
you know, they added all those really cool sound effects. Like, I was playing, what was I playing? DMX on Warzone. Like, we need to get that. Well, they wouldn't have DMX back then, but whatever. You know, Flock of Seagulls, whatever it was back in the 80s. Like, but it's got to be really tinny because you got to imagine RC cars not going to have this big, vibrant sound system. It's going to be a little tinny sound.
Yeah, just chasing people around, blasting Van Halen.
Running with the devil.
The teacher. Yeah.
So, and to me, I mean, I really like Valhalla a lot, but Call of Duty, I'm just such a big fan. The game's a little light, I think, on content right now in terms of there's not a whole lot of maps. The zombie mode is fun. I think the maps are lacking. There's really no. I think it's like a soft launch, honestly. The clan system isn't set up. There's really no distinct battle pass to speak of. You're just kind of leveling up guns. You know, there's no new operators to unlock. I think like we're gonna see this game really step up in probably a couple weeks when the December patch comes. But
Yeah.
I think it's good now to just kind of get your feet wet. I think when the real game comes out, it's gonna get even better.
Yeah, we're going to watch this game evolve and grow with us over the next year, year and a half, till the next thing from Activision gets shitted out. But they're, back in the days of OG, well, I would say the 360 and on versions of Call of Duty, because there was Call of Duty Big Red 1 and stuff like that for the GameCube, which I still have my copy of Big Red 1. What the fuck was I going to say? Oh, there's always either been Treyarch making one or then Activision will make one. And I was always Team Activision. I was always a Modern Warfare guy. I didn't want, World War. I always bought them, but I didn't ever play online for World War II or anything like that. But, good on Treyarch. They've made a fantastic game. I mean, it's just as good, if not better, than Warzone, in my opinion. And I prefer the more modern weapons. I prefer the more modern weapon attachments and optics and all that stuff. But they've made a fantastic game, and even though it's like 80% of it's what it should be at launch, as you just mentioned, I'm totally and completely in love with that.
Same, yeah. The whole way that they do now with their Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Activision, Sledgehammer was the other one, where they're constantly rotating studios out. They do keep a lot of commonality between them, so it's not a totally foreign game. But yeah, I agree. The fact that the weapons are older, but they're more mechanical sounding, like you said, they handle a little harder, they're a little throatier. It's different, it's fun, and honestly, Warzone isn't going anywhere. So if you're really jonesing for, whatever they had in Warzone, that you could still play. Well, don't plug your PlayStation hard drive in, but you can think about it.
No, this is what I hear when I suggest Warzone. This is what I hear when I suggest Warzone from Jim. Really? Really? Fine.
Yeah, because it's like a 2 XP weekend. It's like every gun double XP, and Phil's like, hey, you want to play Warzone? It's like, no. Yes, no.
It was fine yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's fun. They're all fun. That's the thing is, I really think when this new season opens up in December, when they're talking a lot more cross progression, when guns are going to start blending more into Warzone, it's going to just turn into one big game of like, what are you in the mood for? And it's all going to give you progress. It's all going to give you experience. Your battle pass is going to be across multiple games. I'm really excited for that. That could be really cool. That hasn't been done before, and I'm really curious to see how that plays out.
Same here.
What are your thoughts on Spider-Man? I know you haven't played Miles Morales, obviously, because it's a direct sequel. What are you thinking about Spider-Man so far?
So, I don't know yet.
Jury's out.
It's a lot of fun, but they made Spider-Man a little bitch in this game. Honestly, when Stan Lee's creation of Spider-Man was not dependent upon his suit to have all his powers and life preservation abilities, and I know Tony Stark came in and this is the new canon, and the suit is like the major focal point and all the gadgets and stuff. But like,
Right.
Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider, and now he's super strong. He basically can't be killed. You can't land a hit on him, and like, I'm getting my ass kicked by like some guy named Jamal with a baseball bat. That's not representative of actual Spider-Man, and I don't like that. And it's kind of pissing me off because when I play a superhero game, I want to be a superhero. Not some kid that, not some weird scrawny kid that's like literally one frame of a cutscene strong enough to catch a car that is rolling in the air, stop it, and throw it down, a 4,000-pound car. And then in the very next cutscene, a guy gets out of the car and punches him in the face and he's dead. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me, and I can't. Like, I have no idea why I'm going all over picking up these backpacks. Like, why? First of all, this guy can't pay his rent. You know why he can't pay his rent? Because he's buying and losing too many fucking backpacks. Okay, he's bought every backpack for sale in New York City and hidden it somewhere totally fucked up, and that's why he can't pay his rent.
Damn.
I have
Savage.
like, maybe I'm just too. I
Savage.
haven't gotten into the game enough. I just unlocked the ability to go around and do the research stations, so I'm
Okay.
getting the research tokens now. Maybe I'm too early into the game to be fully appreciating what's going on, but Spider-Man is grossly underpowered. There's way too like the completion of the game is way too focused on fetch quests, and the actual main story missions so far have been kind of boring. Like, so I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm trying. I want to platinum it. I want it to be my first platinum. Um,
Why? Just because you're to pay tribute to Spider-Man? Because clearly it doesn't sound like you like the game.
well, I do like it, and I don't like it.
Oh, you do.
It's a
I'm
lot of
sorry.
fun. It is a
I
lot of
must have
fun
missed that.
it is a lot of fun to swing around and like
Yeah.
jump around and like hit people with the web shooter. It's got its fun moments, but
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to get into it and I'm trying to find my groove with it. I don't want to just dismiss it.
I feel like for me, and this may be, a lot of people may go through what you're going through, and I'm glad you brought this up. You were somebody who was solely Team Xbox for such a long time. You really missed out on some phenomenal games. And Sony's done a really cool thing in offering PlayStation Plus so you can go back and catch up on some really cool games. For their time, really cool games. Um, I wonder if it's one of those things where it's almost overwhelming in the sense that you have Valhalla, you have Cold War, you have Demon Souls, which we'll talk about in a minute. You have Spider-Man, the old one, but you also have a new one, and all these other games are piling on, and it's a lot easier to be picky now than it's been before. When Spider-Man came out, there was nothing like it. Um, we obviously, as a industry, have evolved slightly, but maybe it's not as exciting and as revolutionary as it was. I don't know, maybe. It's not that old of a game, but people see an idea and they copy the hell out of it. So
Yeah.
there could be some of that too. I understand what you're saying. I loved it and I did platinum it, not because I said I need to have the platinum, because I just wanted to keep playing it. And I didn't love the story either. I never honestly felt like I was in any danger as Spider-Man, but I understand the combat and what the ebbs and flows of what the combat were. I just thought it was fun to swing around and do tricks, and it had a lot of charm with just the quips that he would make and the different
Mhm.
suits you unlocked. That's what kept me coming back, really, more than the story. The story, it was largely forgettable. I do agree with you there.
Yeah. And I like all that stuff. I like the way you traverse the city. I
Hmm.
like the different suits. I just unlocked the defense suit Mark II, which I think looks badass.
Hmm.
That's what I'm wearing now. I switched out of the advanced suit and now I have the bulletproof armor suit. But, the majority of the time in the game, you're either swinging or you're fighting. And the
Yep.
fighting mechanic to me is a little ridiculously underpowered, in my opinion. Like, I
With
know that the guy is holding up a crowbar, but I know for a fact that actual Spider-Man could punch through that fucking crowbar. So
there's
I don't know, man.
definitely video gameisms, I guess. It's you may be going through also something similar I go through when I play games like this, where I want to just like get lost in all the nuances and like do every little achievement and every little side quest right away. you will become incredibly powerful by the end. You'll get some really interesting gadgets. You'll get some really interesting moves that radically change the way you fight. Power-ups. You'll build up a meter that allows you to do something crazy that really does radically change the game. So I'm wondering if, as fun as it is to collect the 50 backpacks, and there will be a lot of collectibles in this game, a lot of stuff is unlocked through the story. So it may be something that just stick to the main story for a while,
Yeah.
and then come. Listen, I'm not picking on you because I'm the same way. It might be one of those things where you got to beat the main story or progress enough, and then go back and start doing some of the side stuff. And I think you might have a lot more fun with it.
Yeah, and it's not to say I'm sorry. Sometimes I have a habit of being horribly when I like get off on a tangent of pointing out things I don't like, I sound horribly negative. I'm not having fun with this game. I'm spending hours playing it and I'm enjoying it every minute. There's more frustrations than I thought there were going to be. I'm going to reserve my final judgment for when I complete the game or when I am personally satisfied with putting it down.
I will be really curious to hear what you think after about halfway through. There's something really cool that happens, but I won't say anything. When you get there, you can tell me about it. I'll briefly talk about, just for completion, Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's so edgy and so fun. It's basically Into the Spider-Verse, the game. He is so cocky and young and just full of trying to prove something to everybody. Between that and the music that plays in the background, because he's always listening to music with his headphones, it's got such a different feel to me than the first Spider-Man game. And we haven't played a lot of it because we're still kind of waiting for a little bit better headphone solution because it's not perfect yet. Because it sounds so good, I don't want to ruin it. And we're playing Valhalla, so we have plenty to do. But I think when you get around to it, you're going to really like it. It's a major shot in the arm for the formula you're playing now, but turned up to 20.
Okay.
It's good deal. It's like DLC, honestly, but it's fun. I think you're really going to like it.
I can't wait.
I know you haven't played or procured Demon's Souls, and I did. That's one game that I am in love with. I'm a huge From Software fan. I'm telling you that we really do need to play Bloodborne together at some point. It's just so life-changing. That whole formula of those games is so good. To me, Demon's Souls is the prettiest PlayStation 5 game right now, hands down. The atmosphere, the lighting, the ambiance, everything. When I was talking at the beginning of the show about how everything comes together perfectly, it happens more in Demon's Souls than any other game. Just this amazing, running across a bridge and a dragon's chasing you with your Pulse headphones on. You can hear his wings flapping behind you. The hair stands up in your neck as you're running. The light, the way the light hits, the reflections, the 60 frames a second, it's just perfect. So I think right now that to me is the showcase game of PlayStation 5.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we're really lucky. We're lucky that we are one of the lucky people that got some, and lucky that we haven't bricked our systems yet.
But to end the show on, I think one of the games that we all will find very, very charming, ASTRO'S Playroom.
Yes.
Really, honestly, I would call this PlayStation the game because it's just it's a trip down memory lane with the Astro bots, which I adored. I played the virtual reality game on PlayStation 4. I loved it. I think the Astro bots are cute little shepherds of the future. They're a great mascot. For somebody like you who I know you did play some PlayStation games, but not as many, seeing all this come together, the celebration of PlayStation, what did that do for you?
Well, you have to remember, my whole life revolved around my PlayStation 2 growing up. I love PlayStation. But as I entered ASTRO'S Playroom, I felt like a poser because this is such a love letter to PlayStation fans. And I didn't pay my PS4 very much attention. I had a PS3, but I spent most of my time on my 360 because I didn't like the PS3. And I pretty much completely ignored the PS4. But I'm pretty sure I already told you this, dude. I fell in love with this game almost immediately. And I'm loving every second of it. The little Astrobot is so adorable.
He is. He's a cute little guy.
The music is great. Everything about it is fantastic. There's serious like Little Big Planet meets Mario vibes meets just like nostalgia. I don't know how to describe it. It's amazing, and it's just a tech demo basically. It's just to showcase what the console and the controller can do. But
Right.
they did it in such a fantastic and fun way. I just kudos to PlayStation. They didn't have to do that, but they did it, and it's fantastic, and I
The
love it.
the fact that it's a basically pre-installed experience, and most people will probably be playing it first based on download times for other
Yeah,
games and installations and patches and that sort of thing. It's a great way to like really funnel people through it. It's almost like it's almost like you have to play it in a sense to even set up your PlayStation, because it's the game everybody's talking about. It's fun to play, and it does have a lot of charm to it. I've always been, I'm a Sony guy, and it's neat to see like your childhood in a sense. There's so
yeah,
many nods to old characters, and even like perfect example. There's all these little vignettes of like the Astro guy with the webcam or the camera recording a scene, and that's like a cool scene of something. There's one of them in there is Solid Snake from Metal Gear, which is definitely not a PlayStation exclusive game. It's on everything now, but there's just something about the original Metal Gear launching on PlayStation first and being there that's like, you think of Solid Snake, you think of PlayStation. And seeing him in that game, it's like, wow. Seeing characters from Resident Evil, it's like, I remember those launch games. I remember playing like the old NBA basketball games, like when they first came out and how bad they were. But it was 3D graphics. So yeah, NBA Shootout's what I'm thinking of. But there's nods to that in there. There's Road Rashes in there. It's so cool. I really do like it. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it, and I think that if anything, I'm glad that Sony I don't want to say took a chance on this, because Knack got panned to death, but this was actually a cheesy, fun game that everybody liked, for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
I I think it's going to go down as a cult classic. I think it's
I
going to get
agree.
a huge following, and I think this game's going to follow us around for a long time. At least I hope it does, because that little Astrobot is fucking adorable.
Well, I mean, you gotta, I would think people would argue now that that is the mascot. I think maybe Nathan Drake was the PlayStation mascot. Kratos may have been. Aloy, you could argue, but I feel like the Astrobot is kind of like, after all the smoke settles, like we're still with Astro. Like he's still our guy.
I find it hilarious that you mentioned Aloy in the same breath as Kratos and Nathan Drake. She's got one fucking game, dude.
And what a game it was! What
I
a
never played it.
dude! That's not on that PlayStation collection, is it?
No, it's not. I
Man,
am going to play it before the new one comes out.
Horizon Zero Dawn is Horizon. I will say this. This will be my farewell to Horizon Zero Dawn, and we'll wrap up our show here. I bought an HDR television to play Horizon Zero Dawn. That's why I bought it.
Nice.
That was the
Attaboy.
first HDR game I ever played. Rachel and I platinumed it. I think we played probably 80 hours. We did every possible thing you could do. Got the hidden armor, everything. Aloy is a bona fide badass, and the gameplay mechanics in that game. I still have yet to play a game that handles even like, and I love the archery in Assassin's Creed. The archery in that game feels so good, and I cannot wait until we get some adaptive and haptic feedback and adaptive tension on that bow and arrow when we play the sequel, because I know it's going to be like, you're going to pull that arrow and you're going to hear the thwip. I don't know what it's going to sound like or do, but I can't wait, dude. Robot dinosaurs, bows and arrows. That's it for me, man.
You guys can't see it, but just off screen, Jim's pants is like,
Just a little. So there's some more news. We'll get into it next week. I thought it would be fitting, not just me. I know, Phil, you agree. It was definitely the right thing to just focus on today's show on PlayStation. We know that Xbox is out there. We don't have one yet. They've got some major announcements. We'll talk about those next week. We'll talk about Game Awards and stuff in the future. But I thought that this would be a good capstone. We can look back on this video in a couple years and see how right or how wrong we were on some of our early predictions. But, early adoption has got its ebbs and flows clearly. There's some things to work out. There's some things that are great now. But I think it's going to be a good generation, man. I'm hopeful that the momentum that Sony's built continues because I think they got a good concept on their hands for sure.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Phil for the infamous Phil's farewell. Hopefully, sir, you've been preparing.
No. But I will say, much like the quality, the poor, poor, poor quality of these outros never changes. Neither does war. Thanks for tuning in, folks.